evening. Thank you for stopping by. I know it looks like a Lonely Hearts Club meeting, but we had a quorum. And so we can do some business. First thing is the approval of the minutes. The minutes from the last general membership meeting is part of your package. If you want to take a minute to glance at it, to read it, and then whoever is so inclined may make a motion to accept the minutes.
We'll move to accept the minutes.
Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor? All opposed? Minutes are accepted. All right, let me make a few remarks. Okay, summer is upon us, and let me tell you, Bonnie and I went down to the beach today. She was looking at Phragmites. I went down to see what the new jetty, what it would do for our beach. And I saw it right after it was done, and it didn't look much different. I saw it today. We have gained sand and a lot of sand. The groin itself, from its original placement, about 15 to 20 feet of it is covered with sand. The neighbor to the north has gained the beach, which he didn't have before. And we are gaining the beach on our side of the groin. Granted, the bay give it and the bay take it away, but at least right now, it has given us the additional sand that we had hoped for. So that project, I think, can be marked as a success, at least this one. And I would invite you all to go down and take a look at the beach. After all, it was our money that was spent to do it, and I think it's serving the beach very, very well. The other thing that was done at the beach was we tried putting up some 4x4s and just banging them into the ground and hoping people wouldn't drive through them. Of course they did. And so, there was, in fact, one very witty remark was made when somebody commented, hey, you shouldn't drive on the loose sand. Oh, all the sand is loose. Yeah, you're quite right. Anyway, right now there are some, we can call them rocks, some people may call them boulders, but they are lined up sort of to delineate the parking area from the beach area, and maybe that will eliminate or stop people from driving on the beach. I don't think you can get through any of those spaces.
You can't pick them up either.
Well, yeah, and I don't think, well, I don't know about everybody, but I can't pick them up, I guarantee you. And so, let's all enjoy the beach. Please, go take a look at the beach and enjoy it. The other thing that's to be mentioned is Drum Point Appreciation Day, Saturday, July 6th, from 2 to 7 p.m. We still need volunteers for various activities, from setup to cooking to serving to cleanup. The sign-up sheet is here. We really would like people to sign up at the end of the meeting. You can come up and do it right there, or get a hold of Bria at the office and you can do that. Yeah, if I remember what has come up at a couple of meetings, safe driving. And now, now that summer's here, we still don't have sidewalks, we still have children, they're still playing in the streets. So please, everybody, drive as carefully as you can. Slow down, kids are playing, stop. I know there was a question about putting in speed bumps. Well, we can't just put in speed bumps on our own. We have to work with the county. There's a board, I don't know what it's called.
The commissioners put together a resolution, I think they called it, that they will work with us through Public Works, Department of Public Works.
Yeah. But there are limitations on where you can put them. You can't put them on hills, you can't put them right by stop signs, various things. So if people still, I still think they're unnecessary, personal opinion, if people just slow down, but if people still keep fighting for them, there's problems with putting them in, but we would work with the county to put them in.
I'd say over the years, we've worked with the police, the sheriff,
Yeah,
and so
yeah, we've worked with them before.
trying to deal with the problem.
And the other thing is to remember, the ambulances and the fire department really do not like speed bumps. It just really interferes with their vehicles and the ability to move people in and out. They really don't like it. The other thing I'd like to remind everybody of, we all have pets, we all love our dogs, we take them everywhere. Something tells me that the people in this room don't have to be told, please clean up after your dog. You know, and even when you're walking on the beach, remember, kids play on those beaches. Please, anyway, that's enough of that. Then about the beach, once again, I've been asked to address the question of what is access, what is public property, what isn't public property. The sort of general rule of thumb is that if the sand is wet, or if your feet are wet, well, if your feet are wet, that belongs to the state of Maryland. If the sand is wet, that's sort of public property. If the sand is drying above the mean high water, that's probably the property of the homeowner that has his house there. So try to be a little respectful of people's property and don't just haphazardly pitch camp on somebody else's lawn. And I say that, but I saw it happen. And actually, that's all I have to say. See that? A big lecture. I hate that. Committee reports. Let's start at this end of the table.
I went around and surveyed various areas where we've had fragmites problems in the past, and as some of you may know, we've been treating this problem for years with county's approval. The county used to, if you're not familiar with fragmites, it's an invasive species that goes into the waterlands. And the state is very anxious, and county too, for people to treat it. And we do treat it for the Drum Point common areas. And we started that, I think, in 2016 and 2017, and we really got it almost completely eradicated. But you never completely eradicate. It's like a tangent that comes down and goes almost to zero, but never quite goes to zero. So today, I found a couple of places in the Drum Point Beach area where the Phragmites has come back. And then there's another place, Lake Terrace, which we weren't treating over that time period because there was a conflict between what we thought was our property and what the homeowner thought was its property. And even one time the homeowner shushed the guy who was treating the frag. He wouldn't let him do it. So I'm going to send these photos off to 2 providers for this treatment. Mark Smith, who we've been using for years, and a man named Wally Bowles, which I think Jenna used for a private property, and see what we can do. If you don't know, we treat this problem in the September-October timeframe. They have to wait for the wind to be just right. And then after it's treated, then 6 weeks later, we can start cutting down the dead cane. So this is a never-ending problem. Some years, like last year, there was hardly any, so we didn't bother this spring. But maybe it was a wet spring or something, but it came back and gave like gangbusters this year. So, and if none of you know what it looks like, we can just send out a couple of pictures and maybe an email to be sure.
I think actually I probably have the one on the environmental people website, but I'll double check.
Yeah, that's all get now.
Any? Oh, I forgot to ask, are there any questions? Good.
Oh, yeah, we got
Season
show and tell,
Season 2 for the house.
dog and pony. Okay, planning committee includes stuff that were major projects and so forth. Well, the beach was one of those. Why are you doing this, stupid thing?
Those are those little rocks that I mentioned.
Looks like a mini Stonehenge.
Well, anyway, so there's the rocks. If you look straight down where the picnic tables are, there used to be this really cute-looking eyesore of a bunch of cement blocks around what used to be the old porta potty. That's gone. We took that out and we put the rocks in. So it really opened up the beach, moved some sand around. So we've got a nice area there around the picnic tables. Then we put the rocks in. We took them all the way down to the water at the pond side. So I don't think anybody can get through there. I mean, it's really too bad that we had to do that, but I think that has a little bit better aesthetic look than the 2x4s and 4x4s and so on. The picket fence you see there in front of the car, that's the fence around the marsh grass that we have to leave in place for 5 years to let, to try to hold all the sand that's there. And it's working, it's growing. So I think we're in good shape there. We did pave when we did the last fall's paving, we did pave the road down into there, put that gravel on, so we've got plenty of parking over to the side. So I think it's really nice. And we do have a porta potty. It's to the left of where the car is there. So there were porta potty, trash cans, and everything's there.
It's not disguised like a brick wall. So
Yeah.
you can
Right.
tell what it is.
And it's also not like in the scenic part of the beach. Don't look
No,
at it
no.
anymore.
Right. Goes off to the side. There's a pole, right? It's kind of obstructed by the trees, but there's a pole dead ahead of in the view, just to the right of the picnic table. That's a utility pole, a light. We put in 2 cameras, one on that pole and one on, there's another pole right back here. We put in 2 cameras, mostly just to try to catch anybody who's really being stupid out there. And not a lot we can do with it. We do get alarms. We can key in on it. We can try to identify the vehicle and at least make some movement on that. We also get alarms from lots of bunnies and deer and geese and everything else. So anyway, sorry this thing keeps flashing around, but that's it. That was our major project. On time, under budget. You don't hear very often. So it all worked out great. Even with the rocks, the boulders, we're still under budget.
We're not the government of it.
We're here to help.
That's right.
Oh, God. Okay, Rita may cover some more of this. The planning committee also looks ahead at other large projects. The main ones on those are, at this time, are fixing drainage, fixing stormwater problems, runoff problems. Steve Rowe is our project manager. He's got a few of those in the works right now. We've got bids from contractors, and we've got work ongoing. So we're starting to work off some of this stuff. We did some of it last year. We got some done and started, and we're continuing on those. So we are trying to be progressive and fix things. I think that's all I have for the planning. Oh, I will say, you mentioned the speed bumps. You probably, there's two forms of so-called speed bumps. There's speed bumps, which are the ones that really rattle your car when you go over it and can cause damage and really slow things down. Then they're more commonly and more popular nowadays are what they call traffic calming devices. Those are the low bumps that are usually 3 to 4 foot wide and a little bit shallower, so the car you have to slow down, but the car can at least get over there without jarring your teeth loose.
So those are humps instead of bumps.
So I've also heard them called humps or mesas.
So if we do end up trying to do something about this, like Tony said, working with the county and so forth, I'm sure that's what we'll aim for. So I don't want speed bumps. Okay, that's it.
Jack will come to you later when we do the budget. Asher, do you have anything?
Nope.
Rhea?
I would just add to what Mike was saying about the projects coming up. The budget you're going to be voting on. There's, we've done some stormwater management, just sort of small jobs around the community. And then there are others planned for next fiscal year, which begins in July. And then also the request for proposals for this year's paving will be going out in the next week. They'll be published in the paper. And we'll have a pre-bid meeting on July 16th, bid opening on the 23rd of July, and hopefully get the work started a little earlier than we have in the past couple of years. August, maybe early September, before the leaves start to come.
You want to tell them where?
Don't have it off the top of my head. It's sort of cut up, a little bit of Lesson, a little bit of Walsh Drive off of Chestnut, the county part of Chestnut. There's a little piece of Lesson off of Walsh. Bowie Way, Pilot, Oak. It's mostly off of Parade Boulevard, mostly. There's a little bit here and there, up on Cardinal, a piece of Laurel, here and there. It's a little more cut up this year than usual, I
But you'll see activity if you're in any of those areas. You'll see Steve out there marking
think. Right.
and getting ready to cut the driveways in and stuff like that. So you'll see the activity.
And, well, Dogwood was done. I sent an email about that when I saw that it was being done. I'm like, what's going on, county? Anyway, I always send letters out to the affected property owners. So I spent yesterday, isolating those people on those streets. And I'll just send a form letter saying, hey, this is coming, what to expect. And then like the week prior or so, once we finally actually get it scheduled, I'll send an email out to you. Just to let everybody know.
Any questions on anything that has been covered so far? Good. Unfinished business. I'm not aware of it.
I don't really have, it's not really that, but I don't know where to put it in otherwise. I don't know if all of you are aware, but Jenny Rice created a Facebook page for the Ground Point neighborhood. And it's not part of the DPPOA activity, but how many people do you have now? Yes.
Probably around 500. Yeah.
There's all sorts of interesting things for sale, things. It's not for business sale, but
It's a big way to communicate.
and for anything that looks strange in the neighborhood. It's a very nice way for people to communicate. I don't know if everybody is in Drum Point, right?
It's Drum, yeah, you have to be a Drum Point resident. And it's, the Facebook page is Drum Point Neighborhood, Lusby, Maryland, if you're searching for it, so. And you have to answer 2 simple questions to be approved.
First one is your name.
Social Security number.
Any questions? No. All right, now the big item for the day, new business, the budget. Jack, you're on.
Well, got 2 sets of budget documents, and one is a normal balance sheet and profit and loss versus budget versus actual. Those are the 2 I like to look at all the time. And they tell the story. You can see the balance sheet shows that we're in really quickly shape financially, where we want to be. It's kind of boring to just go through it all, but if anything there catches your eye or raises any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. The other thing you might take a minute to look at is profit and loss budget versus actual. That shows you where we might have gone over budget or under budget, or if we're spot on. We're so close to being spot on this year. This is good until June 30th. So you'll see, I think that we're very, very close to where we plan to be at the end of this fiscal year. If there's any questions about any particular one, let me know. We'll ask me to answer it. Necessarily all of the specifics. The final dose of budget for everybody is the FY25 budget, which begins, our fiscal year begins July 1. So we work to develop the budget, find out where we needed to fill in for our plans for this year. It's not all that much different from last year's budget. We've been saving a little bit of money, a little bit of less paving. You can see FY, and that is this one pager with the chart. And this shows the main line items that all our membership votes on every year. So there's very little to explain here. It's all very close to last year. It's self-evident, I think, what we're doing. Biggest item is capital improvement projects, which will be paving. And it's quite a bit smaller than last year. Last year we really paved extra roads. And the beach. So we're quite a bit under last year's figure for that. And the budget as a whole is under last year because of that too. But as always, we try to keep this budget as low as we possibly can, and but still meet all of our needs. So far, every year seems to be doing okay. Any of these line items or any of these activities raise any questions, please let us know.
Bring it up, you know, if there any questions or any observations?
Can I just add one small thing? Sorry to interrupt. This is the roll-up, as Jack said, but the full budget has been on the website for weeks. So just so you're aware that it is out. It's just that it's like 4 pages on April. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but this is the one we're actually voting on.
Yes,
So this is the
yes.
one that is on the table for voting this evening.
I'd like to move we accept the budget.
All in favor? Opposed? Budget passes.
Well, Tom,
You
no,
have to
I don't
check
know.
our,
Oh,
I'm assuming these are all in favor. Maybe
don't know,
that may be rash.
Yeah,
you gotta check them.
That's
So
right.
how about I step out there and do that, because it'll be.
Can't just assume they're all good.
Opening. I just don't
While
know.
Rhea is doing that, I'd like to remind everybody about the sign-up sheet for July 6th. It's right here. Don't all jump up at once.
And food will be served at 4 o'clock, and there's going to be, a band or two.
That'll be next Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, July 6th. You know, while Rhea is doing that, we can do the public comment part of that, Waukesha County ballot. Anybody have any issues they'd like to raise, or any questions, comments, anything at all? Wow. Wasn't like that when I was teaching 8th grade.
Jeannie, does anything go on the Drum Point webpage about the meeting? I wonder if more people look at that.
No, we
I
probably-
should do
we
that.
probably
I should do that
yes.
a few days ahead of the meeting, just to remind people. I've done it in the past, but I haven't kept it up, so I'll try to remember, put reminders out.
The only issue with that is, now, is that, when you say this is the Drum Point Community web, or not web, Facebook, does that include some of these areas that are not part of DPPOA?
The website, I mean, the Facebook page?
Yeah.
I think early on, I wasn't great at having people answer the questions. So a lot of people invited their friends, whether they were drum point members or not. But shortly thereafter, I found out a few people were joining that were not members of the community. So
Well,
I changed the rules.
But that's what I mean. What does members of the community mean?
They have to prove that they live in Drum Point. They have to give you their
Okay,
address.
but does that include, for instance, a couple of the streets off Rousby Hall? They're in the Drum Point area.
That are not part of the Drum Point Association.
Well, but this is not a Drum Point Association webpage. We can't.
Drum Point
do-
neighborhood, not the association.
Yeah,
I mean the neighborhood
Okay,
proper.
but they live in the Drum Point
like
neighborhood.
a bitter end, for example.
Bitter end.
Bigger end, I don't accept them.
Okay.
Well,
Trenton, I don't accept them. A lot of people over on, off of Olivet, for some reason, think they are part of the Drum Point community. But then they give me their address and I'm like,
but that's why it's confusing, is because it's all Drum Point. This whole peninsula down here is Drum Point.
You're talking about the zip code.
Well, the zip code is
Well, that's
Lusby.
larger, that's actually
but-
larger, yeah.
Basically, all the way down Rousby Hall, from the top, from the circle, that's considered the Drum Point area.
Does
So you might want
does it
to give that
matter?
some thought. I mean,
Yeah.
People on there look at photography and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know
And
if it
I
really
think,
matters.
Jenny,
you're-
you're doing your best, I think,
Yeah.
to try to keep it for the community
Yeah.
here.
I mean, when I lived in Alexandria, our community there, you had to show a piece of mail that had your actual address on it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing what I can, but as far as notifications for the meeting, I would say it's just for members who live in Drum Point proper.
Well, yeah, we do need to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think you said on the Facebook site somewhere that it's not the official Facebook page
It's not
for
associated.
DPPOA, it's something
Right,
for
yeah.
us to just, see what our neighbors are having a beautiful sunset, or
Yeah,
there's,
yeah, and it's
there are
not
things going on that we
there's
want to know about,
critical
but,
issues that get discussed so much, although there's sometimes there are.
yeah.
There's not going to be.
Well, Facebook is not for critical issue discussion.
No.
No, but if you want to make somebody aware that your car was rifled through or
Well,
something.
Yeah,
They can,
That's,
but you don't want to head down that.
No, but
that
it
path.
seems like if your car's been broken into, or if there's some strange people coming to your door selling stuff, people just want to know
Well, that's
that
okay.
yeah.
it's really benign.
I don't think it's gonna be
benign.
used.
It's benign.
I don't think the
No.
Facebook
Yeah.
page is going to be used.
In
It
fact,
doesn't seem like it.
Occasionally I have to remove a
That's
few
your
items,
message.
but
No, I'm on here.
So what's
oh, I see
the
her.
voting
Oh, do you?
results?
I think we have a total of 37
Okay.
people here. I apologize, I didn't do a recount, but they were all in favor.
Okay.
Done.
Sure.
But 24 of the votes were absentee.
Yeah,
So,
where's some of these
Thank
things?
you.
Got those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Thank
had said
everybody.
about, we need 35 people to attend these meetings for us to be legal. So if we don't get them physically, we get these absentee ballots. So really appreciate your coming out,
Yes.
because it's a lot of work getting ready and doing these budgets. And to get,
Well, legally, we can't operate without a budget, and we need the votes to get the budget.
Yeah.
it's what keeps us going.
I can remember many, many years ago that we had problems getting the head count at almost every meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that the present board has gotten around to that.
Well,
A little more aggressive.
Take a long look around the room, we're not doing all that great.
well, the important people are here.
Oh, yeah, any envelopes needed.
Yeah.
Are there, we've finished the really serious business of the meeting. Are there any comments that you would like to make? Anything you want to bring up at all?
For what?
Maybe recant. The house on Beretta that hasn't mowed their yard, is that something that can be dealt with, or?
Well, give me an address, and I can,
Yeah.
well, are you talking about the one that's like under construction finally?
No,
Again?
there's,
No, it's like 3 feet high.
So there is a county ordinance that says 12 inches is all higher you can have your grass.
it looks like the house itself is vacant.
It might be. I can alert county zoning enforcement, and I can send you the address if you would, an email if that's because otherwise it might get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And I'll alert zoning enforcement, and they can issue a warning to people. Sometimes what happens, it was explained to me some time ago, is by zoning enforcement, is they issue a warning, they don't cut the grass, they issue a fine, they go to court, the owner does, and the judge says, have you cut your grass? And the owner says, yes. And the judge throws it out, and then next month we do the same things.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating. I think.
Yeah, I think it's just like a house or two as you go past Seagull.
Okay. I'll see if I can remember, spot it where
Yeah,
I
but I don't have the address on.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect you would, but I'll see if I can.
Somebody in the community told me there was a death, because I asked about that. Is it a yellow house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small.
I don't know.
Oh, I do know which one this is. I just remembered. I had somebody email me, I'd forgotten. That house is occupied by a woman, I don't want to give much detail, I don't really have much detail, but she's sort of a special needs person, physically. And they are in the process of remodeling it for her because something is needed. So I did ask the trustees, controlling company, if they would please at least cut the grass, and they assured me they would have that done. Thank you for reminding me. That
Yeah.
happened just last week. I forgot all about that. So I'm assuming that's the same one.
Yeah.
I will say, if you're in contact and you can just get permission, I mean, myself or my son can
Uh-huh.
go there and get it mowed just to take care of it. and make it easy.
I can mention that to the trustee, and see if they- and then-
He needs things to do.
There you go.
Well, it's, yeah.
Oh,
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other one-
Yeah. I was like, be careful, it's gonna get mowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I appreciate you making
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I'll give you my information. after the
Okay.
meeting.
I have a question. Golf carts, what kind of rules do we have around this? And I'm probably bringing up something that's,
No, it's not our rules, it's traffic laws.
yeah,
Golf carts, there are some slow-moving vehicles that are legal on streets. They're registered, they have license plates, they have headlights, blah, blah, blah. Regular golf carts are not registered, they're not legal on the street. If you see one going down the street, all we can say is call the sheriff. They're illegal, they're not supposed to be on the streets.
Then sometimes you see children driving.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah,
I
please.
saw a mom with a baby. I was like, oh my gosh, really?
We constantly mention that they're not legal, but we also have no authority to stop.
Yeah.
And may I add to that, a couple of years ago, kind of when COVID began, that's when I think we really began to see a lot of golf carts. And I talked with the sheriff's office, who said that just what Tony said. There are some that are street legal, but very few that we see. And if it is street legal, then it has to be licensed, insured, it has to have a driver who has a valid driver's license. But they hesitate to write tickets. They would rather educate people. So if you call and he stops this woman that's driving with the baby in her hand, or whatever she's doing, he would prefer to educate. And probably for the same reason that we talked about with the grass.
Yeah.
Is they issue a fine, they go to court, he gets thrown out. I have my opinions about that, which I've stated. I think they should have a ticket that they can't contest. So it's illegal. But anyway, that's my opinion.
You gotta
so I
remind
did.
Rhea to read the Constitution every now and then.
That's my opinion. Anyway, so I did send out an email to the community when all this sort of began a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I got some pushback from people who thought the board was trying to, ruin family fun. And I said, and it's been in newsletters, I said, nobody's trying to do that, we're just trying to inform you that if something happens, then you will definitely be getting a ticket. Not to mention, if your kid gets killed, but, we're not trying, the board isn't trying to do anything except inform the public that these aren't evil. And, I don't know.
And they move fast. I mean, they're as
Oh, yeah,
fast as
some
cars.
fast. And if somebody gets hurt, I don't know if people really think their insurance company is their friend.
Yeah.
The minute they find out you're operating an illegal vehicle or the driver is unlicensed and you have an accident, hey,
You're on your own.
good luck in trying to collect some help. But anyway, nobody listens.
I just don't want anything bad.
I don't either.
It's, anything else that we cannot help you with?
Actually, probably. I was curious if there have ever been any efforts for the flies on the beach. Is that like, they say unbearable at times. It's probably just a bay thing. I understand. Nothing
It
to do.
depends on the direction of the wind too. It's coming from the north and the flags,
And how strong is the wind?
I don't know.
We do-
Are there
we do,
things that can be done?
We do have mosquito spray.
Yes.
I don't think that doesn't kill the flies.
And you can opt out, but you would have to opt out if you don't want your property sprayed.
Just
That way,
Anything else? Well, before we adjourn, I'd like to remind everybody we have this wonderful sign.
And we love for people to.
For anybody who hasn't heard that announcement,
actually, two of us,
You can grill, you can serve food, you can
two of us
serve
have
games.
already signed up.
see that two people have responded to this plea for
Oh,
help.
did you? Okay.
All right.
Are you-
Thank you
I'm
for,
not doing food, I'm doing check.
Oh, okay.
No, it's, because we just got,
And
Bruce
three.
lost our list.
I know.
So now do we sign back up now through that list?
I emailed Bruce because because I was on that list too. And so I'm already on there, but if you haven't done that, you can just go, I would go ahead and email him if you originally signed up with Bruce. Yeah.
Bruce.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
list might not be complete, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
well,
We
anyway.
can look at it, see
He
if we're
has
already.
names on it. Aren't there names on it?
yeah, but I emailed it, he lost the original list, yeah.
While we figure out the minutia of the list, thank you very much for attending. We're adjourned.